Alright, I think I still remember how to do these. Welcome to another Arkle Tier Ranks video. As you can probably see on your screen here. New Who companions, so going from the relaunch in 2005 up to the most recent. I know this is May 2022, but there wasn't like any new companions in Jodie's last special. So anyway, yeah, this also doesn't include a lot of the one-offs for the various specials, like the as Diamanda Hagen brilliantly titled it, the David Tennant Parade of Death. So no Lady Christina on here or anything like that. But okay, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, I don't know how the order was selected. Hmm. Okay, yeah, now I'm thinking it's by first name. That's an odd choice. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go along with it, except for one little detail I want to get out of the way right now. Jack and Mickey are going into the F tier, a bit reluctantly. Not much against the characters themselves. Well, I mean, Jack certainly had his issues during Torchwood, but let's not get into that. If you want to know why, just Google. Well, no, Google's kind of useless anymore. Go to DuckDuckGo and type in John Barrowman on set behavior or Noel Clarke allegations. It's really a shame, too. Mickey had an arc, but I just can't enjoy his work anymore. Barrowman, God, what a disappointment. I mean, because I enjoyed a lot of his non Doctor Who and Torchwood stuff too, so that one hurt. So going back to the order there down here, we're starting off with Amy, and honestly, I'd be ranking her lower than B tier, but Karen Gillan was a good enough actress to make her work in spite of some of the problems with the writing. She suffered from some of the same problems that Rose suffered from, frankly, but I'll get into that when we get to Rose. Amy certainly also got to have more badass moments than Rose, at least in my opinion. And while there's rather unfortunate similarities with regards to how both of them treated their boyfriends during their first years on the show. Amy wasn't quite as egregious, but yeah, she could be a little selfish sometimes. That seems to be a bit of that seems to be a bit of a common problem with some of the new Who companions. Well, a few of them anyway. But, she got to have some pretty badass moments, which, not going to take away from her. And Karen Gillan was just fantastic in the role, which, again, is the only reason she's up as high as she is. Sometimes, a good enough actor can power through bad, or if not bad, at least problematic writing. And Gillan's one of them. That's why she's probably the underrated MVP of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I think after 3, she's getting a lot more credit, but okay. Let's see, up next. Oh, poor Bill. We deserved more. She was great. She and Capaldi played off each other great. Her ending was a little bit unfortunate, but that's Moffat's fault, not hers. She didn't take any bullshit. She was just I loved the part in in Capaldi's last special where she just completely puts the first Doctor on the back foot. That was funny. Admittedly, there is a bit of an issue with that scene, how it's written, in that I think there was a bit of flanderization, sort of Moffat seeming to think that the first Doctor was a bit more of a dick than he was. I mean, he was kind of a dick, but he was a charming dick. William Hartnell did a really great job of that. It's like someone who can be kind of rude, but you still respect them. That's really hard to do. But unfortunately, I think some people see that, and that I think some people think that that's all the first Doctor was, and that's really not. I mean, he certainly had that aspect to him, but he's a much kinder, gentler person, much kinder, gentler Doctor than I think even some fans of the show remember. But yeah, Bill was a lot of fun. I wish we'd gotten more than one season with her, and we might have, if not. Okay. I'm going to put an asterisk on this one. Her first few seasons were actually great. I enjoyed Clara her first few seasons on the show. I thought she worked well with Matt Smith. I thought she worked well with Capaldi. Maybe even a little better with Capaldi, if I'm being honest. But, okay, as I understand it, that Christmas special, the one with Nick Frost, was going to be the end of Clara on the show. That was going to be her last story. But at like the very last minute, she decided to renew for one more season. And I think it kind of shows, because Clara was just kind of awful in her last season. I know some people who think Clara was awful her entire run. I don't agree with that. I mean, she had her sort of the inverse of Amy. She had her really stupid moments, but for the most part, she was a really good character. But that last season, she was just so incredibly reckless to the point of annoying. I mean, had she died a season earlier, that would have been sad. But as it was, when we got to the Raven, it was just like, fucking course. And again, I think that happened because Jenna Coleman decided at the last minute to do one more season. And it's like, it was her right to do that. It's her career. I just think it was a bad decision. So, yeah, if it hadn't been for that, I would have put Clara in the B tier. I might have even put her in the A tier. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I would put Clara in the A tier if it weren't for that last season. And that one kind of is her fault. I mean, it's also Moffat, but, Moffat is really good at standalone episodes, but my God, does he suck at arcs. Just yikes. Okay, so this one is probably going to be controversial, folks, but, in fairness to me, he probably benefited a lot from lowered expectations. I liked Dan. I did not expect to like Dan. To be honest, I don't think going into that special I even really wanted to like Dan, but he's such a sweet guy, man. I remember when he was first in, like, that first bit that introduced him, it's just like, oh God, we're getting a generic white guy as a companion. What fun. It's like, there's like nothing about this guy that's interesting, and that from that one little clip. But then we get his first proper story, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, and he's nice. He's actually like nice, not nice TM, And his departure made a lot of it made sense too, even though it was a little bit abrupt in the last special. And I also liked the parts of his run during the show. There would be times when him and Yaz were both separated from the Doctor and them playing off each other. I thought they had a kind of a great double act thing going there. So yeah, honestly, I think this is probably going to get me in more trouble with some of the Doctor Who fans than me putting Amy in the B tier, or but yeah, I stick by that. And okay, this, we go from probably my most controversial pick to like the safest. I mean, come on. I'm not the huge fan of this whole having David Tennant also be the 14th Doctor thing that they're doing for the anniversary specials, but at least we're getting Donna back. Donna probably had more of an arc than any of these other characters on here, and one of the most, it's amazing how you can have that tragic an ending with a character who's not only not dead but appears like a couple of times after the fact. But holy shit, Journey's End. Oh, just right in the feels. I mean, and even in like her very first story where she was kind of annoying, it fit with her character. Catherine Tate just really sold that, you know. Just and you know, and her and Tennant were a great double act, and it shows in the fact that they've teamed up for things outside of Doctor Who, and were great there too. So, you know, for all the issues I have with this 60th anniversary thing they're doing, seeing them together again, at least that will be worth it, if nothing else. I mean, there's a very real chance that that's going to be the only good thing about these specials, but I haven't seen them yet, so I'm going to keep an open mind. Now, we're back down here. We're going, I liked Graham. He was just so much fun. It was a shame that we really only got like one season with him, but although when he came back for Jodie's final story, that was great. The interplay between him and Ace, it was an interesting choice, having an older companion in the TARDIS like that. But it really worked. I liked him and Ryan as a double act. To be honest, I think I enjoyed Graham and Ryan together more than Ryan and the Doctor for scenes like that. And I'm blanking on his name right now, but I first became aware of this actor when he was on Law & Order UK, and I thought he was pretty good there, and he carried that over into Doctor Who. And that, in fact, I'd say I'd like Graham better, but then again, I didn't watch Law & Order UK past the first season, because that was when I kind of started my general run against cop shows. Although, speaking of Law & Order UK, this is another one where I blame the writing. Martha deserved better. She got done so dirty. And she's a great character. She just... and Freema Agyeman is a great actress. They just didn't give her enough to work with. I mean, I think it says a lot that she was much better handled in her couple of episodes of Torchwood than her time on the TARDIS. Actually, her post-TARDIS episodes of Doctor Who as well, she was better in that. So, I mean, I actually kind of feel a little bad putting her in the B tier, but it's just... It was a poor decision on the part of the showrunners to add the whole pining for, the unrequited love for the Doctor thing. I think that really held her back. She'd be in the A tier without that. Let's see. Who's next? Nardole. He's fine. Just fine. I got nothing particularly bad to say about him, but not too much great. I mean, some great one-liners. Matt Lucas, I think is the actor's name. He's like a comedy veteran, so it stands to reason that he'd have good timing. I think he played off Capaldi pretty well. That's really all I got for him. I mean, that probably sounds like damning with faint praise, but it's like, no, I don't dislike him at all. It's just... Ugh, River. Okay. Here's another one that needs an asterisk. Do I put her in C and D? Here's the thing. With River, in small doses, she's great. Like in a one story, like in a one episode appearance, or a one special appearance, or even like a two-parter, she's actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed her in those instances. But then we had that season where she was in every fucking episode, and it was too much. It was just too much. Okay, you know what? The parts that were good enough that I'd feel guilty putting her in D tier, but I'm definitely putting her in C tier. It's like, but if it weren't for that season, if we hadn't gotten the River Song overload, I might actually be willing to go so far as to put her up in A, frankly. But, it is possible to have too much of a good thing, and with River Song, that wasn't just too much. That was a fucking flood. Let's see. Now we go to Rory. A tier for him. Yeah. remarkable patience, funny, didn't didn't just accept the doctor's bullshit in times where at the times when the doctor can be full of shit sometimes, although that's sometimes part of his charm, but and he punched Hitler, so kind of hard to go wrong with that. And God, his last episode, he got one of the best damn lines that entire season. When she's like, "You think you're just gonna come back to life?" And then he goes, "When don't I?" that was that was hilarious. That made that episode was kind of a mess, but that line alone made it worth it. The line itself was funny, and he delivered it great. And oh yeah, that's just. So yeah, Rory's going up into the A tier. Oh God, Rose. Okay. D tier. I'm sorry. Like, she's fine if you're new to the show. She's an okay, she's like a decent enough starter companion, I guess, if you're just getting into the series. But that's really all she's good for. I talked about how selfish Amy could be. Good God, Rose is way worse. I don't think the people writing her actually realized that. I think they somehow just did not realize that they were writing a character who was basically a narcissist. I mean, she would do the right thing occasionally. Certainly, I don't want to. No. She's just terrible. I'm sorry. I didn't used to think that, but the benefit of distance and also hearing some of the critiques from from fans of the show who like never liked Rose from the beginning, but were willing to be fair and not just spend the whole video or article just being nothing but negative. It's like, even when they talk about the aspects of her that did work, you still kind of get the overall picture of just a character who is just not a nice person. She does nice things occasionally, for sure. I think if she didn't, she wouldn't have lasted more than one season. But the show is just way more enamored of her than she deserves to be. And I mean, that's why, I'm going to say, I don't blame Billie Piper for this at all, because, and you know how I know it's not her fault? Because when she wasn't playing Rose, just a character who looked like Rose in the 50th anniversary special, she was fine. So, obviously the problem with Rose was in the writing. But yeah, it's just like, it's a really weird thing. I don't know if the relaunched show might have made it past the first season without her, because I think, yeah, like I said, it's like, if you're just getting into the show, she's fine as like a starter companion, because the show that season did do a good job of kind of setting the tone for how the dynamic between the doctor and the companion is supposed to work. But like, if like say you jumped onto the show in the Matt Smith era, and like you've seen all of these folks, except maybe if you jumped on like during Tennant's like second season or whatever, or if you jumped on for Matt Smith and you've seen several of these, I mean, go ahead and go back if you're a completionist, or actually, no, you know what? That's not fair. Christopher Eccleston was a great doctor, but just know you're going to have to put up with a lot of bullshit. Okay. Ryan was fine. I do think it was kind of annoying that they just sort of forgot about his his medical condition after his first episode, where he had the problems with balance, or like his first or second episode. He didn't really get to do that much. I might actually have been willing to put him into C, a high C, like higher than Clara River. But, what brings him up into the B was, I thought he and Graham worked together really well. Those two actors played off each other great, and that kind of made up for any of the shortcomings in Ryan's character otherwise. Then, you gotta hand it to Chibnall. You know how decent a writer you have to be to get me to like a cop? I really liked Yaz. Way more than ostensibly I should. And you know what? It is... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. S tier. She and Jodie played off each other. So she and 13, I guess I should say. She and the 13th Doctor played off each other so well, and it's downright criminal if they didn't let them kiss. I'll just go ahead and put it out there. I'm on I'm on team. Yeah, I'm on. I ship it. But she's a fun character. She's no nonsense. She's. Well, I mean, a lot of these characters kind of have that no nonsense thing, but she really carried it. She was very. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Just. She didn't take shit from anybody, let alone the Doctor, despite having. I think she actually was what Moffat thought Martha was going to come across as. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think definitely of the, when you include like the single episode people, she was definitely my favorite of 13's traveling companions. Yeah, that's really all I got. I probably would have had more to say, but I ran into the problem of there was such a long gap between when I decided I wanted to do this list and when I actually recorded it. I think I forgot a lot of the things I wanted to say about these characters. And you might realize, I literally forgot several of the actors' names, and that includes for a couple of the ones I liked. So that says a lot about the problems I'm having with my brain lately. But overall, I'd say I am happy with how this turned out. I am sure I will get skewered on like all of these, except maybe where I put... Yeah, I think people will be happy where I put Donna, Bill, and Rose. The rest of it... Well, no, I think a lot of people might think I was... Yeah, I'd say Donna, Bill, and Rose are about the only ones where I feel like I'm not going to get a ton of flack for where I put them. Some people will probably say that I was too kind to River and Rose, but, yeah, they may be right. Yeah. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments, please. It helps improve the channel's chances of actually going anywhere. And tune in, stay tuned to this channel, because sometime after this episode goes up is when the 200th video for the channel goes up. It will not be a special episode of Shameless Cash Grab, although it will be Shameless Cash Grab related. But it's not going to be a tier ranking video either. It's going to be something we've not done on the channel before, and probably are not going to do again. Have fun. Stay safe.